This is Levi Cooper.
Hey, this is Buck Nasty, Bucky Collins.
This is Big Beef.
What's up, bozos? This is Trevor Outlaw, and you're listening.
And you're listening to the Sit Down Marks.
Sit Down Marks.
Sit Down Marks.
And you're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast with DB, Primo, and AJ.
Good evening, Marks, or morning, or, whatever. Good whenever you're listening to this very special episode of Sit Down Marks. This is one of your three favorite wrestling nerds, and new Sit Down Marks pay-per-view champion, AJ. I just want to very quickly thank the fans. I couldn't have, luckily, randomly guess the outcome of Survivor Series matches without all of you loyal Marks, so thank you so much. I do believe that I have earned. I'm just gonna stop. I got lucky. Anyways, back to this very special episode. Gather around, everyone, and I shall tell you a tale of a city, or Twin Cities, if you want to be technical about it, that had no wrestling promotion of its own. And the promotion that would eventually form and therefore fill all of our Midwestern wrestling hearts with joy. Okay, enough of that. Back in 2018, Mr. DB and I went to a WWE house show in our hometown of Bloomington, Illinois. Well, my hometown. DB's a transplant, hence the thick Southern accent. Anyways, we went to a house show in Bloomington. I don't remember much about the house show. I know things happen. Brutus the Barber Beefcake might have been there. I don't know. The important part of the show, however, was that for the first time in our relatively big, small city, there were people handing out flyers outside the venue. A new local wrestling promotion called Iron Spirit Pro was soon to make its debut. Okay, so now Bloomington Normal, or Blono, if you want me to punch you right in the fucking tooth, is situated roughly within 2 hours of three major cities, Chicago, St. Louis, and Indianapolis, and therefore three major independent wrestling markets as well. You know, promotions like AAW, IWA Mid-South, St. Louis Anarchy, Zawa, which more on that one later, and tons of other amazing shows were within driving distance. It was great, but we had no hometown promotion of our own, no shows that we could drive down the street to and go cheer on the local baby faces and see a wrestling show, where we lived. Then, enter Logan Bruce, who, I gotta say, I'm glad was never able to start a band. Sorry, buddy, I'm being very selfish because you gave us wrestling. He created Iron Spirit Pro Wrestling promotion right here in Bloomington Normal, Illinois in 2018. Now, this is great. Bloomington's own Brubaker was crowned the inaugural champion, or won it, I suppose. There are no crowns. The promotion was an up-and-coming place for new talent to perform, as well as for established pros to put on amazing shows. This includes wrestlers like Big Beef, Gnarls Garvin, Bucky Collins, Hartenbauer, and that rude bastard Trevor Outlaw, all of whom have been on our podcast and have since become friends of our show. Even Trevor. Well, I mean, his mom likes us anyways. But then, in early 2020, a funny thing happened. It was not funny. The world shut down, and with it, professional wrestling. So super fucking fantastic. Now wrestling fans were stuck, watching WWE in the stupid fucking Thunderdome, which I promised that I would never mention that again, but here we are. That lasted 18 months, roughly. We were starved, I say. Starved, wrestling nerds. And then in July of this year, Iron Spirit Pro came back, and the fans, they did rejoice. I was actually lucky enough to go to this show. It was at a place in Bloomington called the Station Bar and Grill. It was an outside venue. Our boy Big Beef fought Brubaker for the ISP title in the main event, coming up just a bit short. I felt obligated to buy a shirt from one Trevor Outlaw because me being the graceful gazelle that I truly am. I knocked his stuff on the ground, so felt bad. But everything about it was great. It's a great show. Couldn't ask for a better return, and it was in Bloomington, and it was great. And then after that, they announced their next show called Back to Normal in early October. But then a funny thing happened again. Again, it was not fucking funny. The show had to be scheduled due to pandemic related safety concerns. They wanted to make sure that everyone was safe and healthy, and there was another spike in badness. I don't want to talk about it. So they postponed their show. And then finally, 2 months later, that show is come about again. Fuck yeah. So that show, called Back to Normal, it is this Friday at 7 p.m. at the Normal Community Activity Center, which in itself is cool because the venue is actually owned by the town of Normal, which has been fantastic in supporting the show moving forward. There must be a mark or two on the city council. And then Iron Spirit has had shows here before. Ask Dirty about him; he'll tell you all about him. But yeah, okay, that's enough blathering nonsense out of me, I believe. Stick with us right now because coming up is an interview by Dirty Bird, Primo, and me, I guess, with the man, the myth, the legend, Logan Bruce, who brought wrestling to the Twin Cities, or again, Blono, if you want me to punch you in your other tooth. And he's doing his best to help us all feel like we are actually getting back to normal. And so, without further ado, I tried to say that like Kenny Omega. Here's our interview with Logan Bruce right here on Sit Down Marks. Also, grab them cakes.
Yeah, it's your heel host, the Dirty Bird, jumping in here real quick to remind you about two big shows coming up this Friday and Saturday. Friday night, Iron Spirit Pro in Normal, Illinois. The show's called Back to Normal. Meet us there. We're going to be there giving away free merch, checking out a great wrestling show. Brew Baker versus Ace Perry lined up for the main event. And then Saturday night at the Elks Lodge in Sterling, Illinois, Zawa Live presents Dreaming of a Fight Christmas, another show sponsored by the Sit Down Marks. We're going to be there also giving away free merch, checking out some great wrestling. Zawa Live champion Hartenbauer scheduled to be there Saturday night, so make sure you make it to one of these shows this weekend, Friday and Saturday night in the central Illinois area. Come meet the Sit Down Marks and watch some great wrestling. Welcome, everybody. On this episode today, we have Logan Bruce, the promoter with Iron Spirit Pro. He's here to talk about the big December 3rd show coming up this Friday called Back to Normal. Logan, thanks for coming. Thanks for being on the show here with us today, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Welcome for the first time that we've ever spoken to you. Certainly not the second time. There was no problems whatsoever the first time we
Right. It's good meeting you.
tried to talk. Yeah, it's fine. Everything was fine.
I don't even know what you're talking about. It's
Exactly. You don't.
That's right. Yeah. Well, we got Logan here because we are excited because Logan is our local promotion here with Iron Spirit Pro. He is the promoter, and me and AJ are certainly happy to have him on here as he is our local promotion here in central Illinois, located in the Bloomington Normal area in central Illinois. So I'm excited, AJ, because we're all big fans of Iron Spirit Pro. We've all been to shows, and this weekend we're going to be sponsoring this show, man. So really cool for us to have Logan on here because it's a big weekend for Blow No Wrestling. Blow No Wrestling, AJ. This is you.
Yes,
It is actually. Sorry, I was waiting for Logan to say. I'm like, wait, oh yeah, me. I drove 17 hours in the last 2 days. So yes. So there's one thing that I really am very curious is how did you start this? I mean, this is, I mean, obviously it means a lot to like Dirty said, like, because it's our home like promotion. But why did you get into this? What happened? Like, what decided or what made you decide to start?
How did Iron Spirit Pro come about?
Yeah, I think that's the question I get asked the most whenever I bring it up in like work life or real life. You know, like I'll tell someone new and like, how do you even get into that? And the joke I always say is because I couldn't start a band. Like I've been playing music like my entire life, and when I moved to Bloomington in 2014, I kept trying to start a band and just couldn't get it started. So I needed something else to do, essentially.
You play the drums, huh?
Oh, hardly. Oh no, I have drums, but I hardly get to play them. Mostly guitar, but that's the joke I always use. I couldn't start a band. So if I hadn't started a band, I probably wouldn't be here right now. But I mean, I have a terrible memory, so I can't like remember the exact moment or day or whatever that started Iron Spirit Pro. But essentially, I'd been going to shows, to like independent shows for, I don't know, at least a few years at that point, especially Dreamwave Wrestling in LaSalle, which I would go to all the time. And that was like a big influence on me. So I'd go see those, and then I'd go see other like really small shows in small towns, you know, like LaSalle and even smaller. And then I'd think, why is no one running in Bloomington Normal? And it just didn't make any sense to me.
Sure.
There are some spot shows here and there, but no one was running consistently in like a bigger town, you know. And so I didn't have anything else going on. I didn't have a band or anything. So one day I was like, that's good. Maybe I'll just run a show. And that was the idea, was run a show. And then I figured if I lost my ass money wise or whatever, then I just mark it off the bucket list of running a show.
Sure. One-time deal.
Yeah. So it's like, and that's, I think, kind of how I am with a lot of stuff, where I'm pretty reserved in my expectations and I keep my expectations low, which is maybe like a self-defense mechanism or something. I don't know. I've never thought about it too deeply, but like if I just do one and then done, that's cool. And so really it was just like, as long as I can find a building and as long as I can find a ring to rent, the rest is relatively easy, you know. Once those things that I didn't know about, like I don't know who had their own ring or who rented or what. So like once you kind of figure out those like basics, there's not much else to a wrestling show, you know.
Yeah, a little bit of fly by, see your pants, figure it out. So how far along are we into this, Logan? A couple shows, couple years?
We started, the first show was September of 2018.
Okay.
So at this point, it sounds like a long time, but obviously we took a year and a half off for COVID.
Right.
Yes. And that first year we ran 6 or 7 shows, I think, in the first year and change. And so we were only running once every few months.
Yep.
Kind of just to get our feet wet, but also just scheduling wise. So it feels like a long time, but it's actually only been, I think it's going to be our 10th show.
Yeah, and this one coming up this weekend is going to be the second show back. Since all the COVID mess has gone on. But let's talk about some of the wrestlers that we've seen prominently on your shows. Brew Baker is the current champion. Our guy Big Beef is there a lot. CJ Esparza, you might know him from Zero Gravity. 2 guys we've had on the pod before, Bucky Collins, Trevor Outlaw. So what does a promoter do? As do you basically just book guys that you like, or book guys that are cool, or do you have somebody that does that for you? Like, how does that work for you?
Oh no, I do all the booking. I mean, that's the fun part. That's the juice. So all the other stuff is the stuff you put up with so you can do the fun part of booking the show.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, I book everybody, and it's people I like. I don't book anyone I don't like. Obviously, we take chances on some like newer people. Sometimes I'll bring someone in where it's like, oh, I'm not so sure. But obviously there's something there that draws me to them. And that can be myriad things outside of, just like work rate or whatever that term even means,
crowd
like character
reaction.
work, or crowd reaction or promo, or like if they're relatively local, then maybe they have a good draw, things like that. But I always like to say that the one thing I never do is put someone in there who like can't wrestle or who's pretending to be a wrestler. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to put someone untrained or someone who doesn't know what they're doing in there. So As long as I can do
So-
that, it could be a bunch of other factors that could get them booked.
So I got it real quick though, just out of my own curiosity. When you first started out, how do you go about getting like talent to take you seriously when you're trying to book them instead of being like, this is some random Joe Snow, you know?
Oh,
right?
Yeah, no, that's a question I would love to ask the other guys is like, what did you think whenever I came to you, especially like local guys like Brubaker and CJ who are here?
Yep.
You know, because they off the bat they're pretty excited that someone was going to run here, you know, in their hometown.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I mean, it is just
me and AJ were.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's cold, you know, cold emails or cold DMs or whatever. You just reach out, and who knows what kind of research they did or anything like that. I guess you just take your chances, and
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember like when they showed up, you know, and it was sort of awkward, like, oh, new building, new place. You know, a lot of them knew each other, so there was at least that, you know. But all the guys know each other, right? They kind of wrestle all the same shows everywhere in different combinations and stuff. So they're all pretty much familiar with each other. So I don't know. I think once they saw that there were people in the building, like they did the math of like tickets are $15 and there's 100 people. I'm probably getting paid tonight, so that's all.
Something other than beer money right now.
Right.
Yeah, and you got to make sure you pay them that first night, so at least they'll come back.
Right.
It's the second.
Just the first night.
Just the first night at least. Yeah. So, Logan, what do you, you know, if nobody's ever been to an Iron Spirit Pro show before, what can they expect, you know, when they come to one of your shows? I'm going to talk about the venue and all that stuff coming up, but, you know, as far as show wise, you know, what do you try to do, you know, for the fans to get them in the door?
Yeah, I'm of the opinion, at least the way I run things, that like it's a variety show. So there's going to be a little bit of everything. I like people who can work the crowd and who can entertain, you know. But like I said, at the same time, they're all guys and girls who can work. So I think there's a little bit for everybody in terms of what you kind of like. And then I always tell people, especially people who have never seen live wrestling or at least independent wrestling, that it's completely different live. You know, I don't know if I've converted people into fans, but I have so many people I know or friends or whatever that have come just to see the weird thing that I do, and they love it because it's so much different in person, especially on the smaller scale when you're like, you know, 5 feet from the ring and you can see the guys lay into each other, and they kind of have to lay into each other because you're 5 feet from the ring, you know?
Right.
So, it kind of brings up the intensity in some crazy way. But like I said, I try to have a variety show. But it's definitely guys who know how to go in there and do their thing, you know.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I have a question about the creative side of it. Like when you like book these guys, do you just tell them like, hey, free reign, go and do whatever it is you're gonna do, or do you have any kind of guidance that you give them as the, you know, the promoter and stuff?
Yeah, I tend to keep that stuff kind of close to the vest, but I'll say that a lot of it is just putting them out there and see what happens. I feel really weird still telling wrestlers what to do in their match. Just because I am not a wrestler and I have never been a wrestler, and I don't want to like tell guys to do crazy spots that are going to break their necks and stuff, you know, like I want to, because I'm like, make this memorable, do something really awesome, but at the same time I'm like, be safe, please. That's my worst nightmare. Someone getting hurt. So I'll just say that like I don't give a whole lot of guidance, you know. We have ideas of what we want to do and ideas of why we put guys together and stuff like that. And I'm a big believer in working your position on the card. So I kind of hammer that in a little bit.
Okay. Well, I mean, the show is this Friday. It's called Back to Normal, and it's kind of a wordplay there. Back to normal, as we're kind of getting back to normal in life, and Normal is the town that it's actually in now. During this interview, and I think I've already said it once, you might hear me say Blono. Well, Blono is Bloomington, Normal, Illinois. That's like the short version of kind of the area there. So you might hear me say that, but
You will never hear me say that. Never.
I'm glad you clarified that because I had no idea what that meant.
I hate that term so much.
Oh, well, we were very much considering calling it Blow No Pro because it has a nice ring to it.
Sure.
When we started,
that kind of does.
Yeah, but we didn't.
Blow No.
Yeah.
You know what's really sad? Really quick, a completely non-wrestling related tangent, just a Blow No related tangent. There's a pizza place in Bloomington called Blow No Pizza Co., which is a terrible name, but it has the best pizza like in the history of pizza. It's amazing. Okay, continue on with your wrestling jibber jabber.
All right, so so it's called Back to Normal at Normal, Illinois. The venue, the dress actually is 1110 Douglas Street Community Activity Center. It's $15 general admission, $10 kids 12 and under. Just talk to us about the venue here. You've ran here a few times. I've been to a show here. You know, they serve food and drinks here, I believe, as well. Right, Logan? You can correct me on that. But a nice venue to watch wrestling, man. It is.
Yeah, and like I said, when we very first started, that was one of our big kind of anxieties: is are we going to find a space that's the right size for us and is willing to have wrestling? Because that's, you know, wrestling comes with its own preconceived notions of certain people have ideas of what it is and what it's not. But we couldn't have asked for a better venue. It's just the right size, you know, because we're still a smaller promotion, so we can really fill it, and it's just the right amount of space. But it's not too big where if we don't fill it, it looks terrible, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So, and like I said,
Like
you can be up
echoey and stuff.
Right. You can be up close to the action and everything. So it's real great, and they've been real supportive. It is, you know, Normal Parks and Recreation owned building, so like the city is helping us put this on, which is really cool. Kind of, I think, gives it some like legitimacy. You know, when I tell people where it's at, they're like, "Oh yeah, I take my kids there for dance lessons or whatever," you know. Or there's a theater in a part of the building, a community theater. So it's like it kind of gives it a little bit of legitimacy where we're not some outlaw mud show that's going to bleed all over the place and whatever, you know. So it's kind of perfect, and they've been really helpful in terms of working with us and everything. So
that's always great to hear, man. When these the city, a city, I was just going to say owner of a building, lets us have wrestling in it, you know what I'm saying? But then the city, signs off on it. So man, that's a double, really awesome way to go there. So, all right, I want to tell you real quick, Logan, we talked a while back about it, but I've been in this area for quite a long time. I used to go to Dreamwave shows just like you did. I tried to go see Scott Hall at the very last show they had there. He did not show up, but
classic.
Yeah, but yeah. So I've been, a bunch of those shows like you. I'm driving to St. Louis. I'm driving to Chicago. I'm driving to Indianapolis. For all these shows, and probably, if not driving on the way there or back, one of the ways I wish we had a local promotion so I could go see some wrestling close to home. So, and you actually, and you've done that for us. So I wanted to tell you the first time it made me happy though. I went to a house show in Bloomington at the arena, and there was some Iron Spirit Pro guys out there handing out flyers for the very first show.
You know what's really funny about that?
Yeah.
That night, okay, and it was raining.
It was raining. Yep.
It was a guy helping us out. It was me and it was my wife, and it was our first wedding anniversary. And that's how we spent it, out in the rain, passing out flyers in front of
hustling flyers.
True love.
Wait, I was at that show as well.
That was the one where we talked and you came over to my seats, and yeah. So we came out of there. Yeah, and somebody's handing me those flyers too, and I was kind of looking at it, and I've seen it said in Normal, Illinois, and I was like, oh man, this is it, man. I was like, man, I'm gonna do everything I can to make this promotion work.
I actually kept that flyer because I was so excited that we were getting a local promotion. That's amazing.
Yeah,
I never put two and two together.
That is awesome.
Coming out of that house show, man, it was the first time I was like, oh man, this is really awesome. So thank you for that, man. I've been pretty excited about it, about having local wrestling here in Central Illinois. So, but all right. So we are actually sponsoring this show Friday, Back to Normal, the Sit Down Marks podcast. Me and AJ are going to be there giving out free merch, saying hello to everybody. So make sure you come by, say hello to us. check us out, and it's going to be a really awesome show this Friday. So let's talk about the card here, Logan. Brubaker, I'm real familiar with him, LaSalle, and he's been around the scene for a while. He's been your champ for since the initial setting of the title, correct?
Correct. Yeah, January 2020, and then we immediately shut down. So it's a little awkward that he had that long span, But yeah, he's been the champion since the beginning of the championship. Yeah.
So on this card, he is putting up his title against Ace Perry, who we've seen wrestle a lot. Me, AJ, and Primo just seen him wrestle up in Chicago not long ago. So pretty formidable opponent here for Brubaker, man. He might have his hands a little tied up here with Ace Perry's quickness.
Yeah, I think Ace Perry is going to give him a hell of a match. So if we'll have to remember here, because stats are important for this. Ace Perry is actually 2-0 at Iron Spirit Pro. He won the main event of Volume 3 against Warhorse, Jake Parnell, which is a huge victory. I mean, look at Warhorse right now, especially. So he's got a victory over Warhorse, and he has a victory over Cody Lane, who's an incredible athlete as well. So it's been a minute since we've had Ace Perry back. I mean, it's been a minute since we've all been back, but it's been a minute since Ace Perry's been back. He's 2-0, main event win. So it only makes sense to put him in the main event against Brubaker for the strap.
Absolutely. Might be Brubaker's biggest test so far too. I like it.
Yeah, he's I believe last time we saw him defend it was against Big Beef.
Big Beef
ago was when Brubaker last put the title up. So, but yeah, this is an absolute great card. There's a lot of matches going to be great. The next one I'm excited to talk about, is Craig Mitchell versus the local guy CJ Esparza. Now, Craig, he is my kind of wrestler, man. And, he is, once again, we just seen him wrestle in St. Louis, man. He's picking up steam again. He's Mr. Freelance coming down to Bloomington. This is going to be a big matchup, Logan.
This is a match I am very excited to see. Craig Mitchell is also 2-0 at Iron Spirit. Been a minute since he's been back. He beat Big Beef in our very first show. And then he beat Ryder Reed at, I think, going 4 or 5, whatever the number was. So he's coming in hot. And obviously CJ is one of our hottest acts. He's always got the local crowd behind him. So people are always super amped for his matches.
Oh, yeah.
He's a very a quick, obviously fast, kind of high-flying wrestler, very innovative. Probably got one of the coolest finish moves I've ever seen, is that shooting star elbow, which is so cool.
It's pretty.
It is.
Yeah. But it's one of those... conflicting styles of the high flyer and the big brutish kind of guy. So I don't know CJ's record off the top of my head, but he's only lost that fatal 4-way for the strap. So he's never lost a singles match. He's never lost a tag match when he was tagging. So this is 2 of our top guys essentially going at it. So I could go either way.
Yeah, man. All right. So this next one here, I got Mad Dog Connolly versus Kevin Geiza. If nobody's ever seen Mad Dog before, what can they expect in this match? I've seen him a lot in New Wave Pro, and he's exactly that, a mad dog, or could say a madman, really. But he's gonna scare some kiddies, maybe possibly at the show.
he kind of scares me a little bit. Swinging that chain around when he comes out. Yeah, it's going to be another good one. He's Connolly has really I don't know what the metaphor is, grab the brass ring or something after COVID and all that, really changed up his style and everything. Is far more aggressive and is out there just letting loose. So it should be interesting to see him back. He did have a loss at our July show, our last one against CJ Esparza. So he's coming off a loss. So he's a pretty angered dude anyway. So I imagine he might be a little extra ticked off at this one. And Kevin Giza is coming in. He was in a tag match we had a couple of years back at this point, did fairly well. But this is going to be his first singles match. He's also a guy, you see him a lot in like IWA Mid-South, coming up, doing really well there in the past 6-8 months, a year, however long it's been. So he's coming in with a lot of steam from elsewhere. So it'll be interesting to see if he can carry that steam into Iron Spirit Pro moving forward.
All right, the next tag team matchup is Braven Logan versus Lander and Philbus, man. We've seen all these guys around the Midwest quite a good bit, man. What's your expectations of this match?
Yeah, this one should be interesting because this is a debut of 815. So Gunnar and Logan coming in. Black and Brave trained guys, so they've done a lot of the Iowa stuff, the Chicago stuff. They kind of branching out, so they are younger guys.
Yep.
So new to the promotion, so we'll see how the fans take to them and see what kind of tricks they may have up their sleeve. Lander and Sage Phillips are guys we've had around here and there. Probably average success. They have some wins, some losses, and stuff like that, but always put on a good show. Always put on a good fight. So we're putting them together as a tag team. We'll see how that works out. They are more of a kind of put together tag team, whereas 815 are very tight, very close friends, training together, ride together, and all that. So they definitely have the team advantage. So we'll see if that helps them out.
I like that you made that distinction too, because I feel like that's very important in like a tag team, especially like when you're making your debut. Like I feel like to have that kind of tag sorry, again, I can't think of words. Driving chemistry. Thank you, Primo.
Yeah, and Lander and Jake Lander and Sage Phillips have tagged, but it's been like 2 or 3 years. I saw them tag in that northern Indiana area before. So, yeah, we'll see how it works out for him.
Okay. And then we got a debuting, I believe it's his debut, Cardini versus kind of a guy that's picking up some steam, getting hot here lately, Storm Grayson.
Yep. So another debut, Cardini, excuse me. Just a big brawling dude, a big tough guy.
Scary looking guy. Right.
Like it's kind of one of the guys you picture as a pro wrestler. You either think of Hercules or you think it's a big brutish kind of guy. So he's coming in as an ass kicker. And then, like you said, Storm Grayson did pick up a win in his debut last July. So we know he's capable, obviously. And like you said, he's been making a name for himself more and more here recently in the Chicago area. So it's something that could go either way. And, Cardini is from the Springfield area. So he may bring some fans, that could give him a little bit of an extra edge. So we'll see.
Yeah. Has he been over in 0-1? Has he been wrestling over there? Yeah.
Yeah. He's done a lot of 0-1 stuff. Yep.
Yeah, I thought so. Well, much more on the card, but the last one we got about here, we want to talk about tag team match, King and Creed versus Gonzalez and AJ's favorite independent wrestler, Trevor Outlaw. Let's see what that one's going to end up being here. AJ, are you hoping Trevor gets the snot beat out of him here this weekend or what?
I'm hoping that he has a lovely time wrestling on the Back to Normal program. Yes, I hope he gets the snot just to humble him just a little bit, just a slight.
They've had quite the encounter before here, so. But what do you think about that match, Logan? That should be pretty hot.
I have a feeling that Trevor Outlaw is going to make a lot of friends with the people of Normal, Illinois.
Yes, he will.
He's loved wherever he goes.
Yeah, unfortunately, maybe I can break this news here. Sad news is that Orion Creed had his appendix removed like 2 or 3 days ago. Oh, God. Yeah, okay. It's one of those, wake up in the middle of the night, screaming pain and all that. Had his appendix removed. So he is out for the next few weeks. So he will unfortunately be at the show. So we are bringing in another team, which I can go ahead and announce here.
Sure.
I'm sure by this time I probably will have announced it, but we're bringing in Davey Bang and August Matthews, known as the B-Boys.
B-Boys, yeah.
Yeah, B-Brothers, out of the Chicago area, which Davey is someone especially we've been trying to book for a while. We had him booked once, it fell through, blah, blah, blah. But finally got them as a tag team and big hot act on the Chicago scene. But they are kind of tight with Trevor Outlaw and Alfonso Gonzalez. They've wrestled a lot before. So it's one of those matches where the guys are going to have chemistry. Again, it could probably go either way. Who's going to come out victorious, but you're going to see a good match.
Yeah. Breaking news right here on the Sit Down Marks podcast this weekend, man. Awesome, man. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. This card, absolutely stacked, man. We're looking forward to it. We're looking to can't wait to be in the house this weekend, but let me plug it one more time here. This Saturday, Iron Spirit Pro, 7:00 bell time Central, 6:30 is the doors open up. $15 general admission, $10 kids 12 and under. Come out, to 1110 Douglas Street Community Activity Center in Normal, Illinois. Iron Spirit Pro, in conjunction with the Sit Down Marks podcast, presents Back to Normal. Get out there, watch some great wrestling in Central Illinois. You boys, AJ and Dirty Bird, are going to be there. Man, Logan, thank you so much for letting us, being on the podcast and for letting us sponsor the show this Friday, man. Looking forward to getting out there and supporting the show, man.
Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate your support of us. I'll say personally, something that I've found very interesting and just very exciting is that doing a lot of this, you meet a lot of the local community. You know, guys like you or people in local business and things like that. Every time I go around flyering, I just run into wrestling fans, and it's crazy because sometimes you think we're all cooped up in our basements like I am now. You get out there and you're like, you know what? Wrestling fans are everywhere, and they keep coming out. And so it's really cool just to be involved in the community like this. So getting guys like you and other people involved, it's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. Like I said, we're super excited to have a promotion here in Central Illinois. So we're always excited to promote and help promotions and wrestlers any way we can. So Logan Bruce, thank you so much, sir. Looking forward to seeing you on Friday night. Can't wait, man. It's going to be an awesome show. Primo, AJ, you got anything else for Logan here?
No, just thank you for coming back. Thank you for letting us pick your brain, and super, super excited about the show coming up. Super excited.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Even if Trevor Outlaw's going to be there.
Thanks for being on the show once again. Like they said, DB and AJ will be there. Unfortunately, I'm over in West Virginia, so I'm not going to be able to make this one. Maybe next time, but I'm sure it's going to be a great time. And you guys just all have fun, and we appreciate you once again for coming on.
Once again,
all right, thanks, guys. We'll see you there.
I want to promote Iron Spirit Pro just like that on Twitter. Also, go check out Iron Spirit Pro on IWTV. You can check out all the backlog of all the shows there. Go check them out, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody this Friday in Normal, Illinois at Iron Spirit Pro.